there, Fort Collins. How are you? My name is Jeff Zanini, and I will be bringing you the Q&A with Pinky and the Brain. We have Rob Paulsen and Maurice LaMarche here to answer the questions that you wrote in. We'd like to give a big thank you to Nick for putting this together, as well as the folks over at Pooter River Public Library. We are very grateful and thankful. We wish we could be there in person. We're very sorry we can't, but in the state of the world the way it is, we're coming to you virtually. So hopefully we could be there next year. All right, guys, how are you?
I'm great.
Well.
How are you, Jeff and Brain?
Quiet, Pinky, or I shall have to hurt you. I must imbibe some H2O in order to hydrate my vocal cords. Yes.
Why don't you just drink some water? Oh, nice. That's attractive, Brain.
If I could reach you, I would spit on you. Yes.
It wouldn't be the first time, except I enjoy it. So, look at you, big soaker hose, you.
That's right. Hello. I want to play Pinky's. I want to play Pinky's stupider brother someday on the show.
Bonky.
Yeah. Bonky. And the bong from him would be staggering. Yeah. Yeah.
This is so great to be with both of you gentle people, and thank you, Fort Collins, for
Yes.
showing some more Animaniacs love. We were there, I don't know, a year ago or so.
Last year, it was still winter though, so we were there doing
really cool.
Animaniacs in concert.
Sellout show with a great college band there from
oh my God,
Colorado State.
Orchestra. I mean, they were an 80-piece orchestra. They were amazing, wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So thank you very much for continuing to keep your entertainment standards low enough for Maurice and me.
All right.
Collins is becoming our new garden spot. This is
yes.
Well, we have some questions that were written in from the fans.
Great.
Just for you guys. So we'll start right at the top and run down the list. From Brett, he asked, Maurice, what was it like working with Trey Parker and Matt Stone? Would you consider doing the sequel to Team America if it were to ever happen? Would we hopefully get to see you with multiple roles?
Well, Brett, let me tell you, working with those two,
wow,
they are certified geniuses. Trey and Matt are unbelievable. Their creative process is on the fly, and yet they just know character-wise what they want from every character in the thing.
Man,
they also like to work late at night. So
is that right?
Yeah, I recorded my scenes as Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
We recorded my scenes. The last day of recording, we went till 4 a.m. on the Wednesday before the week before Friday that the film was going to be in theaters. Like they had to strike prints of what we recorded on that Friday. So they were going to FedEx it out on the Thursday. It would get, where it needed to go, and then be in theaters the following Friday. So they were writing up until the very end, and it was amazing. I was in awe of their minds, and they knew what they wanted. And with Alec, the only thing I regretted was that Alec had a bigger part in the film. The original draft of the film, Alec Baldwin becomes president of the United States.
Oh,
if you want to talk about a little bit of a sort of Twilight Zone-ish.
How about that? Yeah.
But they actually lost. They thought nobody's going to buy Alec Baldwin as president of the United States.
How about that?
Yeah. So we could suspend disbelief that puppets could walk around.
Sure.
But not that Alec Baldwin might be president of the United States. And smash cut to 2016, and Alec Baldwin's a big hit playing the president of the United States on Saturday Night Live. So it was great. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Go back in a heartbeat if there was a Team America too.
Boy, those guys, they're just stupid funny. God.
Yeah, they're amazing.
All right. Next question is from William. And this one I think you guys have an answer. When will is there ever going to be a new Pinky and the Brain show or reboot series?
Yes, coming November.
November 20th. Yes, November 20th on Hulu.
On Hulu. I just like saying it. Hulu. Yeah.
Quiet, Pinky.
Thank you, William.
What is Narf?
20th
What is Narf and what is Hulu, Pinky? Yeah, November 20th. The reboot. It's coming. You know, the good news for you, William, is you haven't been anticipating it for 2 years like everybody else.
I know. It's great. You only got a couple months.
Especially us.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, we've been.
And then Monty followed up with the question, when will Pinky and the Brain defeat COVID?
Oh, well, we're in the process of doing it right now. I mean, have you gotten sick? I don't think so. So apparently it's working, right?
Yes, we're defeating COVID by wearing masks.
Yes.
Washing our hands.
Yes.
Yes, my friends. That's how you defeat COVID. You defeat COVID by not spreading COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, we are right now participating in COVID Con 2020.
Now, Stephanie asked, are you thinking what I'm thinking? But I think that's your line, Brain.
It's actually Pondering, Stephanie. And my question is usually to Pinky. Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Brain. But did somebody really Pooter River? I mean, it's Pooter River. Why would anybody want to Pooter in her river? Why would they do that?
You know what, Pinky? You were pondering what I was pondering. And you were pootering what I was pootering.
I mean,
yes.
Pooter River? Why would you do that? That's disgusting. It's like being in a love canal. It's like the Cuyahoga River in the 70s. It's going to blow up. Why would you Pooter River?
Laura asks, what was your favorite plot for Pinky and the Brain to take over the world?
I know what Mose is, and he'll tell you. I have a tendency to agree with him because it's a phenomenally wonderful card. I know we're kind of self-aggrandizing, but it's a great show. We're very proud of it, and of course, we don't draw them, we don't write them, but it is, to be sure, a remarkable thing to be part of that. My favorite episode, I think, still is the Christmas episode, but there's Mo's, I think, favorite is a close second, right, Maurice?
Yes. Well, yeah, they're actually tied for first. I think we came upon it. The reason it might pull ahead of the Christmas show, just a tad, is that I believe it's the episode where we really found the characters, found the voices, found their dynamic.
Yeah.
And that was Bubba Bo Bob Brain. Yeah. It was Bubba Bo Bob Brain. I think that's where we really just went, that's who these guys are. Okay.
Right. That's true. That's a good point. That's a technical thing that I didn't think about, but Mo is absolutely correct. That's when we really hit our stride, and Peter Hastings and his crew started writing really specifically to the characters, and this is what happens 20-odd years later. It's pretty remarkable.
And that episode was written by the great Sherry Stoner. So
yes,
who many of you do not know this, but Sherry Stoner was the physical model for Ariel the Little Mermaid.
How about
that? So she's both beautiful and hilariously funny.
Oh my goodness. She is
super smart.
Yeah, she's the real deal.
Well, the next question is for Rob from Haley. What was it like to be the voice actor for Spike and Chomper, two characters that are, for the most part, don't really ever speak at first, in the Land Before Time franchise?
It was perfect because it's the best job in the world. All I had to do is say, and they would give me American dollars. And, hey, Spike, here's a tree star. Are you hungry? Would you like one? How's your tummy, Spike? And then, ka-ching. Are you kidding me? It's the best. It's appropriate because I am very simple, and to do a job that echoes my ethos is just perfect. I'm a very simple, pretty stupid man, and I get money to go, can't be that stupid.
Anybody who can memorize every country in the world and then relearn the new countries that came along since they recorded every country in the world cannot be a stupid man.
And get it done in one take.
Yeah.
But I thank you for asking.
And I've never heard him blow it once, and I've been with him 100 times, as he said.
Thank you, buddy. Both of you guys, I appreciate that. But honestly, Haley, the truth is, or you said Heather or Haley? Haley, sorry. Haley, the truth is that any of these jobs are wonderful. We are often asked, what did you like about? The question is, have you really, truly, the question is, have you ever had a job where you said, oh, I don't like this? It's pretty tough. Every job, when you're doing something like this, and you say, what was it like? It was great, because I get to do this, and you people are nice enough to watch it, and then we get paid. There is no, whatever. It's all fabulous, and we're very lucky.
All right. Jessica asks, or states, then asks, I quote characters you guys have done all the time. Do you guys do that too?
No.
Yes, we quote your characters all the time, Jessica.
That's right, we do.
All right, moving on.
No, we do. I mean, I will do a pondering every now and again.
Yeah.
My problem is that Brain sets up most of the stuff, so I don't get a lot of quotes. I get to feed Rob Paulsen, and then he comes up with the funny lines. But
we have, what does happen a lot is that Mo and I, when we're together, we share so much joy and funny stuff and Pinky and the Brain stuff between us. We've come up with great back and forth bits to use and stuff like this with thousands of people, and it's just. And we'll get back to that. But yes, we play around all the time. I don't walk around the house going, Nerf, Zork, Cowabunga, Turtle Power. I don't do that. No.
At least not all.
I do.
Not that you see, right. Yeah,
I walk around my house going, Nerf. And my wife, Robin, goes, Rob is already Pinky. You get to be the Brain. Live with it. Live with being the unfunny one.
And I love that shirt. I have the same one, only in blue, and I love that.
Yes, my friend.
Look at that. My goodness. Sort of a CAD
Dun,
drawing.
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
All right. Next question is from Paula, and she asked, did you ever get to improv lines for Pinky and the Brain?
Sure. Yeah. Mo? The scripts are always really solid, but I know you added stuff.
I think attitudinally, I was where I did more improvisation. In the episode where we're on Jeopardy, for instance, which was the very first one we ever recorded, Brain is just supposed to say yes in answer to Alex Quebec's questions. But there's a moment in the Orson Welles Frozen Peas outtake tape where Orson Welles goes, yes, always. I'm always past that. That's about where I say July.
Genius.
And so every time Alex asks the question, I do that Orson Welles yes, but I take it further each time. So yes, yes, yes. And Peter Hastings loved the way I did that so much. And he just said, always say yes that way.
And Mo signs his autographs that way. And when people read what he signed, they flip because they know exactly what Maurice has coined, and it's become utterly iconic. That's really cool when you take a word and you're delivering the word.
But I've never rewritten, and I've never thrown in my own line. I know you've done a couple of Are You Ponderings that were your own that they loved, and they said, let's keep that.
Right.
So, that's that to that degree we do. But mostly we trust the scripts, we trust our brilliant writers, both in our original iteration and in this new iteration that you're going to get to see in November. Every episode but one will have a Pinky and the Brain episode with the Animaniacs.
Yes.
So you're going to enjoy it.
All the Pinky and the Brain that you can stomach until you more. And Maurice is right. The writing, as everybody knows, we got nothing. We got nothing without a script. And every single time. And
our new writers are held to the same high standard as our original team. They're just a little edgier. You'll notice there's a little bit of an edge to the new show, but I think it's appropriate to the times.
I agree. So great question.
Well, a follow-up question on the same lines from Erin. Were there lines that they specifically did not allow you to improv at all?
God, honey, with all respectfully, it was so long ago. no one ever says don't improv. In fact, they encourage creativity. Whether or not they use it is up to them.
Yeah.
Nope.
As long as we get one as written,
Right.
that's the thing. This is do one as written. In fact, on Back to the Barnyard,
Yeah.
what do we call it? The wacky pass or the
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a wacky pass. Yeah, the producers would always allow us to just
total improvisation.
Yeah, the script would be a general outline or
get from here to here, but get there whatever way you want.
Right, and
we record a page of dialogue of it.
I have to say that I have had directors say, Rob, would just read the line as it's written, but nobody has ever said you can't improvise or don't try something.
Right.
In fact, I believe that my job is to give any producer an embarrassment of riches that they have 6 or 7 takes of a line and they have trouble determining which one is the best one. That means that we're giving them everything that both of us can think of, and they mix and match, and when they know what they're doing, it's Pinky in the Brain.
Okay. All right. Next question is from Patrick. What is the oddest request you've ever gotten from a fan?
Ooh, I had one fan ask me to sand his nipples with a rotary sander. Ooh. But his name was Hedonism Bot.
I had a fan once ask me if I would please stop signing and go home, but I didn't. No, honestly,
I had to sign a guy's leg.
Yeah,
you remember that guy? It was Toronto. Remember?
Yes, I do remember. And he was going to get him tattooed.
He had gotten pinky on one leg, brain on the other.
Right.
But they were on the back of his very muscular calves. The guy was a doctor and a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And so I had to get, and I think it's somewhere in my Facebook feed. I had to get flat on my back to get down there and sign below the brain's feet.
Yeah.
And then he went to a tattoo artist and emblazoned our autographs onto his legs.
That is
life.
It's strange. And the first time, that's happened to us a couple of times.
And then he came back and showed it to us. Showed us like the scabbing.
Yeah, the next day.
Tattoos.
Yeah. They had the piece of cellophane over it with the Vaseline. And that's happened, I don't know, half a dozen times in my career now, going to these conventions all over the place. And the first time it happened to me, I really, it wasn't false modesty. I'm good at my job, but I really thought, why on earth would you besmirch your beautiful skin with what do you do? But now I realize that it is pretty much the ultimate compliment. That people would want to do that is an incredibly high compliment. I don't know anybody for whom I would do that, so I'm pretty flattered.
Yes.
Dedication.
That shows the ultimate susceptibility to my rule. Yes. The tattooed ones shall rule beside me.
Yes.
Well,
tattoo on Hulu.
Richard wants to know which one is really the genius and which one is insane.
Rob Paulsen. Rob Paulsen's really the genius, and I'm fairly bright, but I am out of my mind. Well, Rob is one of the sanest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, well, we got a problem right off the bat there. You got to be a little bit tweaked to be able to compartmentalize relatively, I should say, because both of us are married to women. In Mo's case, a wonderful actor, but in my case, as with Mo, a very bright woman, and they. Yeah, we can if we can compartmentalize and do our wackiness for money when we get to work, and then be a grown up at home. That's a tough one for me. But in terms of, you remember, the song was purposely written. One is a genius, the other's insane. That was a choice because now if you look at all sorts of stuff on the internet, Pinky's really. We never said the brain was the genius. Never. They said one is a genius and the other's insane. So there you go.
Excellent.
And as I say, that is why they call it a theory.
Yes.
Yes.
QAnon.
A theory that Pinky is the genius, but it's only a theory. Like,
And it's only a paper moon.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. Megan asks, if you could do your own take, any character in any franchise, who would it be, and what would they sound like?
Wow. Any character in any Mo is probably the best. Mo has been involved in more high-level primetime. What do you got? 40 or 50 different characters you've done over the years on Futurama, Mo?
I think what they're asking is if you could put your take on any character in any franchise, what character would you pick, and what would they sound like if you could do it?
God.
Yeah, interesting.
That's an interesting question, because all the characters that I love that would inspire me to want to do that character are so freaking. I mean, I love Bugs.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't ever want to change Bugs. That's a great question.
Well, Warner Brothers does. I mean, they've had several Bugs Bunnies, and our pal Eric Bauza is the current Bugs Bunny, doing a great job. Billy West has been Bugs Bunny. Jeff Bergman.
But while they certainly put their own sensibilities on it, but still, it's still, yeah, what's up, Doc? It's still that, hey, over there, what's up, Rabbit? It's not exit, stage left. It's not Snagglepuss on Bugs. And that's a really great question, because I can tell you.
Yeah, I played Yosemite Sam.
Yes.
Since Mel died, I probably did most of the projects except the 2 feature films, and all I did was just go, was that Mel enough? Did that sound Mel enough? I would love to bring my own take to the Joker.
And you almost did.
I came real close, I think, although it ended up going to Kevin Michael Richardson, and he was absolutely the right choice for the series The Batman back in the early 2000s, because it was like Joker on steroids. He hulked out. I mean, he was massive. He had a tremendous physique, and he could actually hold his own with Batman. And what I auditioned with was very much in the vein of what Heath Ledger did, but long before Heath Ledger. But I always thought that the Joker should sound a little wistful and have kind of a goofy voice, like this, almost like Lecter. And it was that before Ledger, So that was kind of that's, if I wanted to do a character, I'd love to really go deep with an evil character like Joker.
Yeah, and that's great. I had a couple callbacks for Philip J. Fry on Futurama, and same thing. They made exactly the right choice with Billy. I think the difference is with a character like Joker, the first time I remember a talking Joker was Frank Gorshin in the 60s, right? Was there a talking Joker before that?
No, and it was Cesar Romero. I'm sorry to correct, but
yeah, he was the Riddler. Was Frank Gorshin?
Right.
So that's the. There have been so many iterations of that character that a world-class actor like Maurice could take it and do a new version that would be fantastic. The characters that inspire me are all so well done by the people, and I would have to pick one I honest to God, I would have to really think about it. But thank you for letting Mo figure it out.
All right. Next question is from Sam. What was the trickiest line to learn or song to sing? What was the trickiest line to learn, and what was the hardest song to learn? That's what he's asking.
Mo and I had an episode of Pinky and the Brain called You Said a Mouseful, written by Charlie Howell and Gordon Bressak. Tell them what happened, Mo, that you finally had to go and have your...
The Hackensack Tiki Sock Kiki Factory in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Yes.
Yes, Peggy Babcock. Gordon, God rest his soul.
Yep.
Gordon, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He decided he would write an episode with nothing but tongue twisters in the second half. And he and Charlie loved to do things that were, a little bit themey, and this one was, let's just make it as difficult as possible. And at one point I got so frustrated with my inability to get through the hack and sack, kicky sack, kicking. Like I got up from my chair after trying to do that line 7 or 8 times, walked out of the booth into the control room where Gordon was already doubled over with laughter, and I just went up to him and went, pow, like that, just on his shoulder, like Lucy with Linus, you know, whenever she walked by and just slug her brother in the shoulder. I did that, and then I went back, and I was able to get the line right.
Yeah. Check it out, though.
Yeah.
You
said a mouthful.
If you have Hulu, all the Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain are streaming right now on Hulu, and it's called You Said a Mouseful. And it is really a pile of fabulous words, and definitely was kind of a giant Caesar salad.
Yeah,
all right.
It was great.
Sam, you have your homework. Go check that one out. Next question is from Nick. Let's say SpaceX needs a new voice for their in-ship computer system, like the computer in Star Trek. Which character's voice would you recommend for a trip to Mars?
Isn't it interesting that Nick's reference for a computer voice is Star Trek, mine is Hal, you know?
Yeah, I was thinking, I thought, what could anything be better than Hal?
Yeah, who's a Canadian actor. But do you know who that was, by the way, Mo?
I don't. I thought it was Douglas Campbell, but I know I'm wrong on that. I'll look it up while you answer the
Okay, well, I think
question.
I think that Carl Weezer would be an excellent voice for a computer. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. I'm not going to open the pod bay door. You can kiss my croissant stuff, you know, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to open the pod bay door, Dave. So I think having Carl be the ship's computer would be, in fact, go ahead. Why don't we have, maybe we could have William Shatner ask a question of the ship's computer.
I would like to be the ship's computer.
Oh, good.
You're not doing it right. I know. Oh, you want me to speak to you as the ship's computer. Carl, please, Ensign Carl, please set in a course for Mars.
A course for Mars? Do you know how far that is? I gotta use the bathroom, you booger-eating spaz. I can't take you to Mars.
All right.
But the entire point of the mission is Mars.
Gee, Ron,
Are you trying to sabotage this mission?
I don't say that. I say croissant.
I say croissant.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Douglas Rain was the name of the Canadian actor.
You got it half right. Good for you, Mo.
Douglas Rain, not Douglas Campbell, another fine Canadian actor, was the HAL 9000 voice. Yes.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen that particular movie, because you're more than likely younger than Mo and me and Jeffrey, but
everybody is younger than you and I.
But if you have a moment, just watch. Everybody should watch 2001 anyway. It's just a really, it's a little existential, but it's really a cinematic, wonderful piece.
Yes.
Check out that computer voice. It's really
don't expect a lot of quick cuts and chase scenes.
No, right, and
this is a movie to be savored.
It was so and it was so beautifully acted when he was saying to Dave, you know, not going to do it because I know what you're fixing to do. You're fixing to shut me down, and I'm not going to do it. It was so was it good?
Oh my God, chilling.
Yeah.
He did so much by doing so little. It was amazing. An amazing piece of voice acting.
Really outstanding.
By a Canadian, of course.
Yes. I remember at the time.
A Canadian.
Watching it at 1969, so I was 13 years old, and I remember really being transfixed by the exchange between Keir Dullea and Hal. It's just, and Gary Lockwood too. They're just great stuff.
Okie dokie. All right, moving on. Next question from Sarah. If you had a magic wand and could make any of your characters appear in the real world, which one would you choose and why?
Oh boy!
All my characters, if they were suddenly three-dimensionalized, would scare the living crap out of me.
Yeah, wow!
I don't want to see any of them. Ah!
I gotta say,
with a giant head. Kill it!
I love Pinky and the Brain. I really love those two characters because of the relationship I get to have with Mo in real life and how that translates into the show. That would probably be That would probably be my choice because that is such a great relationship. The characters have become iconic. The writing is great. Yeah, that would be probably my choice. I know it's, I'm really pounding on the obvious, but it's true. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think I'd be frightened to death if I saw Brain in 3D.
Right, look how big your head is.
Oh my God. We got an exterminator.
If I walk around your head,
we need to put this big head mouse out of its misery.
Ow, ow.
Ow, ow.
All right. Rob,
Yeah.
Clara asks, do you have Randy Rogel on speed dial, or does he just travel around with you in a magical briefcase?
Excellent. And he would say, yes, he does, because Randy is the single most overachieving human I think that Mo and I and Jeff have probably ever met. He self-effacing about his height, doesn't matter. He is so goddamn talented. And he's a West Point graduate. And he's a Boston University graduate. And he's won 4 or 5 Emmys. I mean, the guy can do it all. You know what? No, I don't have him. I do have him on speed dial.
We both do.
And he's had an Oscar. He's had 1 Oscar nod or 2.
I don't know. Well, maybe nominated. I think he got nominated for an Oscar.
Nominated.
Yeah, for a song he wrote for Rio 2 that Christian Schiffler sang, and he even directed her. But I'll tell you what, we all know Randy's prodigious songwriting skills, and they're better now. He's writing his own musical, and it's just unbelievably good.
And he's got a couple of songs in the new Animaniacs as well. More than a couple.
Wow. But to very quickly, you may already know this, but Randy's, as I said, he was a West Point grad, and then he got another degree at Boston University, et cetera, et cetera. His audition piece for Animaniacs, the song that got him the job on the show that he had to prove he could write, was Yakko's World. So that's what he pulled out of his back pocket to say, how's this, right? Okay. So he's writing even at a higher level now, 20 odd years later, but when you're done with this, go to YouTube and just punch in Randy Rogel singing in the rain. He plays the Donald O'Connor part in like 20 odd stage productions of it.
Right.
He flips over the wall backwards and dances. I mean, you've seen Singing in the Rain. Go watch Randy Rogel do Make 'Em Laugh. Make 'em laugh. And he does the Donald O'Connor thing, and it's mind-blowing. So he dances like a world-class Broadway star too. It's remarkable. Crazy.
Excellent. All right, Clara, go watch that.
Yeah, you'll dig it.
By the way, I dance like a world-class Broadway star as well. Zero Mostel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's right. Nice.
Ryan asks, what is the best question you've ever been asked at a convention, and do you cosplay?
That's the best question I've ever been asked at a convention.
Yeah, because this is a convention.
Yeah. What's the best question?
I cosplay with fire. Oh my. Best question I've ever been asked. Are you going to finish that croissant? That's the best question I've been asked.
I once had somebody ask me if I was pondering what they were pondering. No. I can't remember. I mean, we get a lot of clever questions.
And we get
I'll answer the second half of that, though. I never cosplay. I'm a little on the claustrophobic side. So to get inside of
claustrophobic.
I'm cosplay phobic. And to get inside one of those, I'm also one of those guys who can break a sweat in a meat locker. I mean, my family, since we moved into this house, it's got such a powerful air conditioning system.
I know what you mean.
I keep the house at 69, and they're like, Jesus, would you please turn
outside? I was outside doing some yard work there. It was 104, and I walked inside soaking wet, and I froze my up. I was like, holy Jesus, this is cold in here.
Yeah. So I don't cosplay. My voice is my costume. I spend a whole bunch of time being other people vocally, and then the animation goes over it. So that's like I already do the illusion.
Yeah.
So I try to spend as much time as me as possible in the world.
I'm with Mo as well. I have never been I didn't even know about it until I started going to conventions a lot, thanks to Jeffrey, probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. I now understand, there are famous cosplayers and their attention to detail is astonishing. And
oh my gosh, some of them are just
Hollywood.
I mean, artists.
Yeah, they really are. It's incredible. That is so not my thing, but I don't even care about Halloween. So the thing that I dig is that all I have to do is do this, and everybody does. I think what you're doing now at home, my friend, because Mo and I are so lucky that we have been able to work with such world-class animators and story artists and storyboard artists that the characters immediately conjure themselves up. As soon as people hear Maurice and me speaking as Pinky and the Brain, we might as well be dressed as them. It's pretty amazing to watch in real life, and it never gets old.
Cool. All right, this one's for Maurice from Tina. The frozen peas commercial is one of my all-time favorites.
Mine too.
What's your favorite based on real life in-joke from Animaniacs or Pinky and the Brain?
That's it. That as an in-joke, the idea that we would spend an entire, that episode in 1993 cost $250,000.
It's an in-joke.
And we didn't have YouTube and the proliferation of file sharing and that sort of thing. It was just getting started. So there's a bunch of engineers that would pass around cassettes of these outtakes. And I made my own compilation and called it Mo's Goof Reel. And, the idea that enough people on the staff loved the Orson Welles Frozen Peas outtake, that they would create an entire, and then dare you guys to get it. Dare the audience to get it. To me, that's a testament to the level of comedy we were writing. We trusted the audience that they'd figure out what we were doing, but it stood on its own as a piece of comedy. Just that Brain would be so pompous as to give Andrea Romano all this grief because he wants to read it, get the check, and then go take over the world.
Yeah.
I love it. That is the piece. That and Willie Slackmer.
Yeah.
The Karaoke Dokie episode. Which again is a parody that came from Mo's Goof Reel, the William Shatner 1978 Science Fiction Film Awards. We even did like Three-Head Shatner in that one. I got to play Bill Shatner. So that's really rare, unless you're on The Simpsons or Futurama, which of course Mo does both. But it's pretty unusual to have a show that will do something so inside baseball and pay for it and say, yeah, let's do this. Because the edict from the top, from Tom Ruger and Steven and everybody, was to not condescend. And look where we are. We're doing it again because this is a show that celebrates the art for its own sake. Relative to other shows that Mo and I have worked on that are, and I don't mean this in a pejorative way, are sometimes half-hour commercials to sell toys or action figures. That's not the case with Pinky and the Brain or Animaniacs. Those shows are art for the sake of the art. And Tom and his staff and Steven and Gene McCurdy knew exactly what they were doing. And here we are because of it.
Cool. All right. This next one's for you, Rob.
Okay.
You have to hire, this is from Katie. You have to hire a voice actor to read the audio version of Voice Lessons as one of their characters. Mm-hmm. Who do you choose?
I choose Maurice LaMarche.
Oh.
Without question. No, absolutely the truth. I choose Maurice LaMarche in a heartbeat. And honestly, I would love to have him read my book as the Brain, because there are moments in my book, and Mo, of course, has mentioned it because he was an important part of what inspired the book. But, the whole book is not, the whole book is supposed to be kind of this, ride that we've all had in this business. And to hear Maurice with his skill as the Brain do the dramatic stuff and the sad stuff and the cancer stuff and then the happy stuff. I mean, I would just Maurice LaMarche, the brain, in a heartbeat. I have to think about it.
Here's a small sample, if I may. I met Gordie Howe. I love Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe am my favorite. Yes. There you go. That's some of the.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Yep, that's exactly.
I love you.
I love you too,
I'm a kid because I love.
No, and that's the truth. Honestly, can you imagine having your life story read by the brain? Oh my God, that'd be really cool.
All right, I'm looking forward to hearing that now.
Yeah.
All right, last question. I just want to say thanks again to Fort Collins and to Nick and everybody in the Pooter Library. Thank you so much for this.
Guys.
The last question for you guys to talk about is appropriate. It's from Tim. What hints can you give us about the Animaniacs revival? We're all dying to know.
Oh boy.
It's on Hulu.
Yep.
And it's on November. What? November 20th.
Yes.
November 20th.
Mo has already alluded to the fact that it is a little edgier and
a little bit edgier, a little more of a 2020 sensibility to it. Yeah.
And Mo and I, this is not what you asked, but it's germane to your question, sir, and that is that we obviously can't tell you storylines, etc., but you will not be disappointed.
No.
At all. And that old phrase about, standing on the shoulders of giants, the writing staff and the production staff, they get how high this bar is. Totally. And to the extent that anybody's watching who's going, oh God, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But please remember, it is, as much as we are celebrating the glorious, joyful aspect of all this work, it still is a cartoon. So don't get your knickers in too big a bunch one way or the other. We really want you to like it, but we won't hate you if you don't. However, 2 words, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he is the guy the buck stops at. Wellesley Wild is running this show. He's got years and years working with Seth MacFarlane. He's a funny guy. He's a bright guy.
Irreverent.
And irreverent. And he's really dialed into the zeitgeist of the times. So, and he's the staff under him, terrific. We got great artists doing the show. What I can tell you is there is an episode where Pinky and the Brain try to take over the world.
Yes.
So, yes. I hope I didn't violate my NDA. I don't mean to violate the NDA with that, but there you go.
You will love it. And honestly, the little bits and pieces we've seen we truly cannot wait for it to premiere.
I love the animation. The animation
looks great. And like Mo said, Mr. Spielberg, ultimately is the guy who calls the shots.
He's the one who said, let's make it. Nobody pitched him.
Right.
He pitched everybody. He's the one who just said, you know what, it's time to make new Animaniacs.
Right.
And went around to the various outlets and pitched, let's make Animaniacs again. But he went to bat for the cast. He said, and this is from a very reliable source. He said, we got to have the original voice actors.
How about that?
I don't want, and so he actually put our pictures down on, in front of the people he was talking to. Like, these guys are our actors.
That is obviously an incredible thrill and very humbling for rank and file actors like Mo and me. Look, the characters are famous. We're here because of the characters, but it's not all us. Okay, so to have
we want to give you, and Steven wanted to give you that
authentic,
the show you grew up with, the characters you grew up with.
Right, and
so it's not going to be that different from the characters that you grew up with.
Yeah,
you're just going to get, as I said, a little more in tune with the times.
Yeah, and in this day and age, often celebrity face talent will be hired to, be the talking whatever in the new Pixar movie. I totally get that. Mo and I understand how it works. We've been around. There will always be a cachet for celebrity. Of course,
and they do a terrific job. They're all actors.
Exactly.
I mean, Tom Hanks is terrific.
Right. And we have
no problem with this work at all.
I don't get bent out of shape. Mo doesn't. There are actors like, well, they've got theirs. It's not about that. But Steven, Mr. Spielberg, in terms of he looks at Pinky and the Brain with the same integrity that he does with Schindler's List or War Horse or whatever. One of
E.T.
You name it, E.T.
He wants to tell great stories.
Authentic. And so it didn't even occur to him not to hire us, which is a very big, not only a huge nod to us and how he feels about us, but because he is the audience. He is us, and he knows how deeply you love these characters. So it never occurred to him to get Tom Hanks to be the Brain, and I don't know, when we say Russell Brand to be Pinky.
Yeah, Russell Brand. That was my celebrity nightmare casting was, and I love them both as actors. But Peter Dinklage as the Brain and Russell Brand as Pinky was my nightmare celebrity cast of Pinky and the Brain, if it ever came back.
Right.
This is before we knew that Steven was planning on bringing the show back.
And according to
my running gag.
It never occurred to him to hire anybody but Tress, Jess, Maurice, and yours truly. And we are not only incredibly thrilled, but the kids, you are going to love this show.
Yep.
I can speak on behalf of the fan base. We are very glad that he brought you guys back because we've all enjoyed it very much and look forward to some new ones. I want to say thank you very much for
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for this opportunity. Rob, Mo, thank you so much for putting your time aside and doing this panel for the folks in Fort Collins. And hopefully we can be there in person and meet you all next year.
I hope so.
Everybody stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.